This compound inequality is negative 3 less than 5x minus 5 less than 2. To solve the compound inequality, you need to set up two different ones, such as negative 3 less than 5x minus 5, as well as 5x minus 5 less than 2. You are using the first two parts here to create an inequality, and then the second two parts to create an inequality. From there, you have to solve it. Solve each one. On the left-hand side, we need to isolate the x. We have to start by moving the minus 5 to the left. So negative 3 plus 5 less than 5x. Simplify the left side to get 2, and then divide by 5 to come up with 2/5 is less than x. Solve on the right side as well. Move that minus 5 to the right, make it plus 5, and you'll end up with a 7. Divide the 7 by 5 to come up with 7/5. Change this into a mixed number and make it 1 2/5. To express the final answer, you must put this back together, in which you have x in the middle, the 2/5 is on the left, keep the sign the same, and then on the right side you have less than 1 2/5. What this means is x is between these two numbers. It's greater than 2/5 and less than 1 2/5. The next compound inequality is 0 less than or equal to 9x plus 7 less than 2. Another way that you can set this up is by keeping it all together and isolating the x in the middle. In order to get that 9x by itself, I would have to subtract 7 from that middle expression. But if I do that in the middle, I do it here and here as well. And when I do that, I'm left with negative 7 less than or equal to 9x less than negative 5. And then to get the 9x, or the x by itself, I divide everything by 9. So I'm left with negative 7/9 less than or equal to x less than or equal to a negative 5/9. This compound inequality is negative 1 less than 8x plus 7 less than 7. We want the x by itself in the middle. To get rid of the plus 7 in the middle, we would have to subtract 7. And what we do to that area, we do to the others as well. So on the left-hand side, negative 1 minus 7 is negative 8. In the middle, the 7's cancel out. And on the right-hand side, we end up with a 0. To get the x completely by itself, we have to divide by 8. So if we do it there, we must do it here and here. You will come up with a negative 1 less than x less than 0. Your first move here should be to subtract 4 from everything. You do not subtract it from 6x. It's not time yet to get the x completely by itself. On the left, you should have a negative 13. In the middle, you'll have a 6x. On the right, you'll have a 5. Now divide everything by 6 and come up with a negative 13 over 6 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 5/6. But when necessary, you must create a mixed number. So this would be a negative 2 and 1/6 here, and then everything else would stay the same. You could set this up as two different inequalities, negative 2 less than 2x minus 5 and 2x minus 5 less than 9. On the left-hand side, we would move this to the left and make it plus, and then simplify that side to get a 3. divide by 2, and then create a mixed number. On the right hand side, let's move the minus 5 to the right. That's a plus 5. Simplify the right to get a 14, and then divide by 2 to come up with a 7. And combine these together into one compound inequality with the x in the middle, the 1.5 on the left, and then the 7 on the right. Alright, for this one we're going to subtract 3 from everything to get a negative 6 less than 4x less than negative 1. And then divide everything by 4 to come up with a negative 3 over 2 less than x less than negative 1/4. Let's simplify the left-hand side to make it negative 1.5 less than x less than a negative 1/4. The number line for this does not have to be too long in terms of how far you go to the right or the left numerically. In fact, you're not even going over in this area. So you have a negative 1 and a negative 2. Notice that negative 1.5 would be here. X is greater than a negative 1.5, so it's an open dot and goes this way. A negative 1/4 would be approximately here. It's going to be an open dot as well and go that way.